Hey, people of the world and elsewhere. This is Jeff on the Jeff Vicario Show number 15. Now, to get it out of the way, I was actually gonna announce that this would be the last show that I do of this kind. It's not gonna be that, but that's what I was originally kind of envisioning. I thought, okay, 15 shows I've had. By the end of this show, I will have played over 200 songs by almost as many artists over a period of 2.5 months. And, you know, I kind of thought, well, maybe this would be a good place to pull the plug, so to speak, and move on to something else. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I don't know why I felt like I needed to get this out of the way and tell you. Maybe because, for whatever reason, it occasionally kind of feels like is this kind of, worth doing, so to speak? What with... I don't know, it's just probably my internal restlessness. Is there any other kind? That always kind of forces me to take stock, reflect, and go, well, I've already done it. Is there any reason to do it again? I've, over the years, changed course so many times with, different projects, like even well-paying gigs as a musician, I would, do it once and then decline. Because, why would I go there and play that stupid set of cover songs a second time? I already did it, and it was horrible. Well, I guess to get back to the issue at hand, which is the continuing... whether this show is going to continue or not, and indeed it is, and the main difference, I guess, compared to some of the projects that I've been involved in over the years, is that this is fun. Spoken like a true manic fun person, but seriously, no, this is fun, heartwarming in many ways. Very enjoyable. I would say that due to the fact that I've been doing this, my quality of life has improved considerably. If compared to the imaginary scenario where I hadn't decided to start doing this. Anyway, that's just something I wanted to get off my chest before we move on to tonight's music, which is the reason we're here. As always, I'm gonna play some awesome indie music on this fine Tuesday night, possibly Sunday, sometime between 2 a.m. I don't know when you're listening to this, and that's one of the nice things about the interweb, where you can essentially just do things whenever you feel like doing them. But on the off chance that you're listening to this on the premiere, which should be August 28th, 2020, this is the Jeff Vicario Show, number 15. And let's get on with the programming. The first song is by the Dead Electrics. The song is called Cherry, and it's quite a recent release from these magnificent purveyors of otherworldly synths and a beautifully dreadful buzz of electricity, as they describe themselves on their Twitter. From El Paso, Texas, a recent tune. This is called Cherry. The Dead Electrics, with a song called Cherry there. Now, I like contrast in music and probably in life in general, but in this instance, I felt that the contrast between the bass, which in Finnish I would call it a romuluinen, but in English I would just say it was magnificently kind of dirty and not mean, but kind of like a scary old bear that looks like it's gonna eat you, but it won't. I don't know. And then on the other end of the contrast, other side of the contrast were obviously the vocals, which are kind of hesitant and deliberately buried in the mix, but they sort of oozed character in a way that was you really have to pay attention, which I really like doing anyway, because that's kind of the reason for doing this show, listening with extra care. And I don't know, I found that to be a very interesting and beautiful and melancholy song. I loved the lead guitar tone. It was like the whole song was kind of like teetering on the edge of something. Not necessarily collapse, because there was movement, but it was kind of I don't know, beautiful. Let's agree that it was incredibly beautiful and strange too. But because to me, strange music is always better than music that is just kind of, I don't know what the term is. The form is perfect, but there is no content. I felt that particular song was a worthy... What? I don't know. I'm kind of... I don't know what I was going to say. Thank you to the Dead Electrics, anyway, for allowing me to play that song on my somewhat disheveled and weird show. The intention is good, nevertheless. Jinen and Tronic, the British, English, incredible electronic artist that I've played on the show before, has a new song that I was just sent recently. Well, it's been out probably for a while by the time you hear this, but I haven't listened to it. I am just banking on the fact that it's bound to be good. The song is called Watching You Love, but I Want to Love. That's interesting. Wonder what it sounds like. I have no idea, but soon I will, as will you, my dear listener.
I love you.
Jin and Tronic with a song called Watching You Love, But I Want to Love. He doesn't make easy choices. This person, this weird, wonderful artist that I have so grown to admire. I mean, first of all, that kick drum sound is so hard to mix right, so that it isn't like overpowering and doesn't destroy everything in its path in terms of the frequencies. But we all know that Jin and Tronic and bass, that's a good mix. They always work. That guy puts a lot of effort and attention to getting that side of the equation right. That was a very challenging composition, and I say that in an entirely positive sense. I like the kind of music that makes you think and wonder and pay attention, and he ticks all the boxes there with that song. Another, I guess the most interesting aspect of it was the beat, which it's kind of like a trap thing, I guess, but the hi-hat sounds a lot more well thought out, kind of like a natural hi-hat. I don't know why I'm talking about the beat. I guess it's because it's mixed so high, and it's like the central feature, and it's not at all what you would expect. All of the accents are in slightly weird places, and it carries the song. And then everything that's happening underneath, you kind of have to reach beyond kind of the beats and to hear the other elements. And I would wager a bet that you have to listen to that a fair few times to fully grasp everything that's going on there. But on the whole, it's another magnificent piece of ambient mastery from Jin and Tronic, and what a great privilege it is indeed to be able to play music like that on this show. Do you know how difficult it is for a Finn to deal with all of the different S sounds in the English language? A few years back, I spoke with a linguist over here in Finland who studies the English language, and he pointed out that us Finns generally don't manage to pronounce the different S sounds in the English language as well as native speakers, and the reason is that the Finnish language only really has two. There's the S, and I don't mean ass, I mean ass, that's how you say it. And then there's the drunken version, which is and that's about it. But in the English language, there's like a dozen of them. Why am I talking about this? Why not? Because next up, Satan's child is going to make an appearance, and that's something to look forward to. The band in question is called Rebel Death, a British outfit that's been out and about for a long time. They've been inactive for a while, but they're back with a song called Satan's Child. I will always play a song with the name Satan or Devil in the title, just so you know. This is heavy metal on sleradio.com right now.
turn to me. Satan laughs as you burn, your eyes dripping death. No time now for repent, Lucifer's here. Your loss of life will be my pleasure, I will never die. Satan's child, Revenant, you're mine. You've no soul, your life's gone. Hell on earth after birth, the heavens cry and scream. The axe will fall, take your life, the Antichrist returns. Ruined church, fiery grave, arms are ripped and torn. A pentagram of blood is leaking from your chest. Satan's child, you're mine. You've no soul, your life's gone.
Righteousness of the righteous will be credited to them, and the wickedness of the wicked will be charged against them. Go! Satan's child, you're mine. You've no soul, your life's gone. Satan's child, you're mine. No soul, your life's gone. Nothing for you now. Nothing for you now. Therefore, I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Angel painted no more, feel the wrath of hell. The pearly gates are firmly locked, the devil holds the key. But you will say your prayers, they're gonna be your last. Nothing's gonna save you now, you're Satan's bastard child.
Throw in everything in the kitchen sink. That was Rebel Death with a song called Satan's Child. And heavy metal is what we just heard. I love that guitar tone. It sounded like something recorded in the late 80s with that one particular distortion pedal to the max. I don't know which one, but you know the one. Maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that maybe they are not meant to be taken entirely seriously. I mean, certainly if you look at their Twitter profile pic, these purveyors of satanic mayhem do not strike me as the most fearsome lot. But nevertheless, I enjoyed listening to their brand of decidedly old school metal. I don't know. I got so many different kind of vibes from that. Something like classic Sodom, maybe, or that kind of pulverize everything in its path style of playing is is a sight to behold. I don't know. I probably shouldn't mention Ghost, but there were, and I realized that this is an old song that predates anything Ghost have ever done. And you know, I'm not saying suggesting. Oh, the drunkenness made an appearance. I'm not even drunk. That's impossible. Anyway, I'm not suggesting at all that they have been borrowing around. I mean, it's an obvious case of both artists being enthralled by the same source material, so to speak. But I mean, some of those riffs wouldn't have been out of place sounded out of place on Ghost's first record. And that's an entirely positive thing. Again, because I do like that record a lot, but we're not talking about that Swedish band right now. We're talking about this English band, Rebel Death. I hope they're English, actually. I kind of just made the assumption that they are. Anyway, thank you for getting in touch and letting me play some goddamn heavy metal on this show. There isn't enough of it. And while we're on the subject of heavy metal, I'm going to play you some Tymmesa Lab music because this has nothing to do with heavy metal, and I like contrasts. I think I mentioned that already. Cortico Endplate is the song from Tymmesa Lab music, and it's on this show right now. Oh yeah. SLEradio.com. Well, that was an incredible mix from Tymmesa Lab music. That was Cortico Endplate. I expected nothing less, but I was like being in the eye of the storm, or the tiger, maybe. Well, let's agree on the storm aspect of it. While all this sort of chaos is swirling around you. Very challenging again, and in a pleasant way, where you kind of you need to just really focus to hear what's going on. I mean, who wants easy listening music? Certainly not me. What's that anyway? I read an article in The Atlantic or some other slightly more reputable publication a few years back where they said that mainstream music has been getting more and more simple in the recent decades. And whenever I venture, which is not that often, but whenever I do venture on the other side of the fence and try to listen to some mainstream music, I am struck by how repetitive and melodically dull and boring it is. When they find a hook, they just like, okay, now we have something that will get stuck in your mind. Let's repeat it 15 million times and call it a chorus. And indeed, a song. And, it's in Spanish. Let's add some completely useless American to the song. Call it a remix, and we'll have an even bigger hit. My God. Or, indeed, Satan. That's what the world has come to. Simple, boring music. The same 4 chords that made a billion. Well, why not beat a dead horse if it farts money? With every hit, pun fully intended. Sweden, this is not Ghost, this is Le Canal. The song is called By You. Hi Daniel, I promised I would play this, and indeed I will. We're gonna hear it right now on sleradio.com.
closer to you.
Canal, they're from Göteborg, Sverige, Gothenburg, Sweden, and maybe the third place. I don't know what they call Göteborg in Norwegian. But in Finnish, it's Göteborg. I like Le Canal for the simple reason that there's something very familiar to the way Daniel expresses himself on the songs. I have kind of enjoyed his style of self-expression from the moment I first heard it, and indeed that's one of the reasons I kind of sought him out, for a some kind of a collaboration a while back. Well, that came and went, and it didn't materialize. But there's no reason to feel bad about that. Things are different, and the music is as great as it ever was. I'd like to be bothered by someone. That's always a good thing. That kind of gives you a feeling of being alive, and kind of, even if it's really annoying, it still means that somebody's actually thinking about you. So I would imagine that in this day and age where being alone in a crowd is pretty much the rule and not the exception. Whether it's a virtual crowd or a real one, that's kind of how things are, maybe. I don't know. Do I know? Does it matter? No. Synthwave has not made an appearance on this show yet, but it will make an appearance right now in the form of Dhastron. From Brazil, this song is called First Light. And why am I playing him again? Well, because I like his music. That's why. This is actually kind of like a Jeff Vicario favorites type show, I guess. Dhastron, First Light, on SLEradio.com right now. It's a Tuesday, or quite possibly a Wednesday. That was Dhastron with a song called First Light. That was sort of deceptively simple, but kind of complex. But above all, it was very dynamic, as his compositions tend to be, and just so smoothly and beautifully produced. Even looking at the wave, you can tell that this is going to be an ear massage. That sounds disturbing and weird, but that's what it sounded like to me. No one quite is quite able to make chords move like Dhastron. He has a way of sort of building a lot of drama into the movements. I kind of really enjoy that. In a word, that was masterful. Quite possibly certainly one of my, but if quite possibly my all-time favorite synthwave artist. But then, that top 100 of artists that I've been listening to in the last year or so, the level of talent is, well, I keep going on and on about this, and for some reason still bands don't send me black metal. I don't know why. Maybe I should start playing my own black metal songs, but then that would be kind of redundant, seeing as they're pretty horrible. And that you might think that that's sort of like the whole point of black metal, and indeed it is, but it's like the whole ethos of it. You go so over the top ugly that it becomes beautiful. So, the one black metal band that I feel comfortable playing because I've played them before is Spire. And this is from their album Entropy. And it's called Labyrinthine. And it's pretty obviously gonna be great. And without getting into the details of it any further, and I do like to dig a verbal hole for myself and then just casually peek out from it and say, well, who cares? Because that's the way words are. And I don't know. This is Spire. The song is called Labyrinthine on SLEradio.com. Dr. Void on vocals there. That was Spire with Labyrinthine. That was prime lullaby material, as I may or may not have mentioned when I last played them on the show. That was my introduction to Spire in, I don't know, last January or February. I was taking a nap and decided to listen to it, and it just sent me on my mellow way into the arms of slumber. Had echoes of like Opeth, actually. And this same sort of majestic quality that some of the stuff on My Arms, Your Hers has, like Demon of the Fall. I don't know, something about the way the drums move with the double kick and then the riffs on top of that. It had a little of some of the same vibe, I guess. I don't suppose Opeth were ever that black or even death. Well, the vocals, obviously, but anyway, My Arms Are Hers, that was a great record. Unknown Land, on the other hand, well, let's just go back to Spire. I mean, if you don't like black metal for whatever reason, then there's something wrong with you, but that's okay, we all have our issues. I don't like Finnish reggae, so, call it even. Anyway, do yourselves a favor and investigate. You can find Spire pretty much anywhere, Bandcamp, and streaming services. Go listen, you're gonna like it. Next up, Unknown Land, a song from Dark Seasons, my favorite record of 2019. It's called Cathedral on SLEradio.com. Didn't think that was amazing, then there's something wrong with you. But there's a cure. Just investigate. Find Unknown Land on Bandcamp and whatever streaming service you choose to use, and listen to their entire discography and be proven wrong in your assessment that that wasn't amazing. Anyway, Dark Seasons, That was the name of the album, released in 2019, and that song was called Cathedral. In the very first episode of this show back in May, I promised that I would do a separate show episode dedicated entirely to the amazing musical collaboration that is Unknown Land, comprising as it does of Lucia Phoenix from Chile and an artist known as Bear Island from Australia. That unfortunately is not ever going to happen because, having experimented with my format, not that much but a little, I've come to the conclusion that this is the only way that this show is ever going to be on the air. Anything like interviews and things like that, they're just too much stress, too much of a hassle. I simply don't have the time. And even if I did have the time, I don't have the energy or the mental capacity to deal with the stress of actually conducting an interview. It's really hard. Anybody who thinks that doing an interview is easy is lying or don't know what the hell they're talking about. I tried it once. I'm never doing it again. So, as always, huge respect to everybody out there who does that. Joey and Troy and everybody on the SLE station who actually goes out on a limb and interviews people. It's hard to keep that train rolling and not have it turn into a wreck. Burial Grid, on the other hand, are not a wreck. They are one of my favorite artists. Well, I did mention that this is kind of like a best-of show for me. I just picked basically artists that most of whom I'd already played before, but then, they are worth your time and brain power. Burial Grid. Negative Space, another favorite record of mine from, I think this must have been released this year. Anyway, the song is called The Rags Had a Face. Very cheerful, pretty hippie pop on sleradio.com right now. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with hippies or any movement that promotes peace and love and all those things. To be honest, I don't even know what I'm talking about when I talk about them. You know, I've seen like 1/3 of the Woodstock movie and it was interminable. I don't know. Anyway, that was Burial Grid with a song called The Rags. Oh, had a face. Sorry, yeah, The Rags had a face. It sounded like a rocket going off, clearing the atmosphere and going into another world, or possibly a moon somewhere. Actually, the moon was in the sky earlier when I started this show, but it has disappeared. I hope that is not a portent of doom. The moon has disappeared. Extra, on July 28th. The world has probably ended. Or maybe not. Burial Grid, The Negative Space, is the name of the album. It's another one of those things that you need to consume as a whole. I mean, just lifting a single piece of music from it is to do a disservice to it. But there you go. Maybe one of these days I'm going to do a show where I just play my favorite records from start to finish and keep my mouth shut. Lemmings. I like the concept of Lemmings, but there's a private reason for that, and I'm not going into it. However, Dave Molter has written a song called Lemmings earlier in the year, and I'm going to play it for you right now. And I actually would like to dedicate this song to a particular lemming known as Blue Lemming. This person knows who they are. Dave Molter, Lemmings on SLEradio.com right now.
I called you here together to tell you about my plan to keep our country strong and free and remain the promised land. To do it, we will build a wall or a fence to block the way. Don't press me for the details, just listen to what I say. America is overrun with drug lords, pimps, and whores. They got here when they crawled up on our sunny southern shores. Let's round them up and keep them all in cages, don't you know? Until we can't just dump them back in the Gulf of Mexico. And like lemmings to the sea, I know you'll follow me, 'cause I ain't asking you to think, just say that you believe. The crap I put on Twitter and the Facebook hate they spew, 'cause if you see it online, you know it must be true. I know that you all follow me and bask in my success, because I say what's in your head and all without finesse. You memorize my taglines, you mumble in your sleep. Lock her up and build the wall, you really are like sheep. His memory is as long as his tiny little fingers. He pours it on so strong, and the scent it really lingers. The founding fathers left us a document so rare, which I have done my best to shred and throw up in the air. It said all men are equal, but I devised a test And now I know beyond a doubt that I am more equal than the rest. And like lemmings to the sea, I know you'll follow me. 'Cause I ain't asking you to think, just say that you believe. The crap I put on Twitter and the Facebook hate they spew. 'Cause if you see it online, you know it must be true.
Well, there's a song for a Trump rally there, except they would probably, they would play it totally without a shred of irony. Dave Molter with Lemmings there. Well, I like Dave's music a lot because it rings so true. Not specifically the lyrics or anything, but his voice, his style of writing, it has that sort of feel of a guy who knows what he's doing and is just really comfortable expressing himself via his music. He's such a talented guy. I like his voice. I don't know. I should probably just introduce the next song because this is a show where these things happen. Dave Molter, anyway, he has been featured on the show before. He's a friend of the show and an all-around great guy. Follow him on Twitter. He's been around, Listen to him, and you can hear that. And that's an entirely positive thing. Plike, well, she's been on the show a couple times, and this won't be the last. I am always a pleasure to hear your voice as it is transferred into whatever notes you choose to create with the magical equipment that you wield in that studio of yours. This is called Sanity Meter. It features the amazing yellow, the out-of-context trap hi-hat in the song there. That's the kind of detail that I like hearing in a song where it's it's the unexpected. Oh, yeah, I've had the privilege of working with Mad Madam M's concept tracks a couple of times, and it's really quite a journey from the track that you get from her, where basically all of the big picture is already there, and your job is to just color it, which is my favorite thing to do anyway. And then to hear the end result, which is always just beyond magnificent and weird and not at all what you expect. That was Plike from her most recent release, Soteria. The song's called Sanity Meter, and it featured Yellow Belly on vocals. She's amazing. I should probably reach out and play her music on the show one of these days. I've been meaning to, but never got around to it. Speaking of which, you may have noticed, and probably you haven't, but nevertheless, I haven't really been advertising my email address a lot in the last couple of shows, and there's a reason for that. I've kind of moved away from that style of picking music for the show. It's still perfectly okay to send me music if you want to. That's okay, My email, the show's email address is out there. Just send away. I will listen. I go over my emails periodically, at least once a week, once every couple of weeks. I go over everything, and you might not hear back from me, but that's just because I'm busy. I honestly am. If I described the life I lead to you, you'd probably wonder how the hell I have the time to even do this show. And to be honest, I don't. Nevertheless, what I have been doing more recently is to just listen to new music here, there, anywhere, everywhere, and then just contacting the artists directly. So it's more likely that you're going to hear from me if I want your music on the show, and then you're obviously free to say no. Or yes, if indeed that is what you want. An artist that did say yes a while back is Norway's quite possibly the best band ever to come out of that country, except Aha. Ulver. This is my favorite song from them, from their more recent albums. This song is called Nemoralia, and it's from the assassination of Julius. The assassination of Julius Caesar. The assassination of Julius Caesar. The song is called Nemoralia. Ulver with Nemoralia. I'm sure they're waiting with bated breath as to what I have to say about their music, because they're the That's, this is like the high point of their careers, getting played on a rinky-dink show on SLE Radio. So, no, nothing further to say about that except that it was masterful, amazing, and awesome. And I'm just totally and utterly taking advantage of their blanket promise that I can play their music on my show. Until the copyright police shows up and says, stop that. Marbin is another artist that I've been meaning to play for a while, but I never got around to it, mainly because I never asked whether I could do that. But I'm just gonna go ahead and play it anyway, because he's been on Limbocast, he's been interviewed on the podcast, and his music has been on there. So I'm gonna venture a guess that their Marbin are okay with me playing a song from their album Strong Thing. This song is called Messy Mark. I'm not gonna say on SLEradio.com right now. Well, I just did. Well, I'm not gonna say it again, at least. I mean, it would be so redundant to just keep saying on SLEradio.com right now before every song. So, be advised. This is Marbin, a song called Messy Mark, and I'm not gonna say on SLEradio.com right now. Is that clear? I hope it is, because this music is awesome, and you should actually just reserve your energy in trying to focus on listening to that and not this gobbledygook on SLEradio.com right now. These guys have an album called Aggressive Hippies. Is that a sign? I don't know, probably not. Anyway, that was Marbin. The song was called Messy Mark. Now, Marbin, they're a progressive jazz rock band, US based. They've been around the world and elsewhere, probably. Joey from Limbocast fame introduced me to them, and I think I listened to their previous record. It was called Israeli Jazz, which I adored, especially the sort of saxophone guitar interplay, or when they would play in unison, like the last bit in that particular song that we just heard, which was Messy Mark, where they just effortlessly play the same goddamn complicated, complex, and gorgeous melody together. I love that. I love the band comprises of a guy called Danny Markovich, who plays sax, and Donnie Rabin, who's the guitarist. Damn, he's right hand. He's so good. And John Nadel on bass, and Everett Benton Jr. on drums. And it goes without saying that they are amazing musicians in their own right, but the thing that stands out to me is their compositional skills. Is that a word? I don't know. They write great songs. That would probably be a more sort of understandable way of saying this. I mean, I'm a career civil servant. I make a living turning simple things into complicated issues. Echoes of Frank Zappa there. I'm always drawn to that sort of kind of chumpy, kind of like Roxy era Frank Zappa, when Napoleon Murphy Brock and all those guys were in the band. That era was like just the greatest in terms of like what Zappa did, and he's pretty much my one of the few like points of reference I have for that style of music, where the jazzy stuff combines with the rock stuff, creating this, music that is easy to sort of discount as music for musicians. I disagree completely, despite occasionally calling myself a musician. I certainly am nothing of the sort compared to these guys. But anyway, I don't know what to say, except that listening to Donnie Rabin playing guitar is like hearing all the best parts of Ritchie Blackmore rolled into Steve Morse's technique and then just thrown through a blender of millions of other influences, probably. I don't know. I don't know why I heard Deep Purple there. It makes no sense, but I did. And I loved it. I loved their whole ethos, the DIY ethic of just going out there and playing. I mean, if you follow Danny on Facebook, and you should, during these COVID times, he's been doing like live guitar sessions. I haven't gotten around to watching them because I'm not on Facebook all that much, but I noticed that he does them, which is an amazing thing. You just follow him and he'll play some goddamn Django Reinhardt stuff or whatever. A great player, and if you haven't listened to his interview on Limbocast, you should, because that was a mind-blowing. That guy's seriously intelligent as well as an incredible musician. Anyway, that was Marbin. I have got 2 more songs to play for you, maybe 3, I'm not sure. The next one is by a band called Rubber Clown Car, whom I featured not too long ago on the show. I loved their vibe, and so I'm gonna play another song from them. This is called Go Go Girl. That was better than saying on sleradio.com right now. But then you get 2 for 1. Rubber Clown Car, Go Go Girl. That was kind of disheveled and lurching and noisy and catchy and all those good things that you sort of ought to expect from Rubber Clown Car. The horns, I liked them. There's such a sort of incongruous presence in the background there. Kind of like they sound like the horn section just showed up and said, "Oh, you didn't hire us. Well, we're gonna play anyway." Where are the notes? There are no notes. There are no charts. I didn't do any arrangements. That's okay. We'll wing it. That was the vibe I got, and I liked it. Kind of together and not together at the same time. That's Rubber Clown Car. Well, that particular song. They've done so much. I have no clear concept of what their like overall vibe is, if they indeed have one. It was certainly different to the song I played on a previous show, which was, I forget the name, but that was awesome. It was very different though. Anyway, the Fleurs, another band from Sweden. I haven't played anything from Wales this time, but there you go. Can't always please them. But the Fleurs, I played... This microphone is horrible. I should get that pop shield one of these days. I played She's Breaking a couple of episodes back, and I thought, well, let's play Fire too. That's how I was introduced to the Fleurs. I love this song so much. And that's why we're listening to it. How do you avoid saying right now? Well, you don't, obviously.
Watching, keep on watching. I know you're made for me, darling. We are meant to be. People who needs people. I'm here to dry your tears. Put me together, piece by piece. Oh, baby, you feel
The Fleurs, the song called Fire. That voice is something else. Just, it seems to sort of be capable of just expressing any kind of emotion you could think of. On the whole, that song reminded me a little bit of Depeche Mode. Well, it reminded me of what they kind of could have, maybe should have sounded like post It's Only When I Lose Myself back in the late 90s. I kind of am firmly in that group of Depeche Mode fans that think when Alan Wilder left way back when, that the only good thing that they've put out since really was Ultra. And then they managed to make a complete mess out of everything. But there you go. You should never allow the lead singer to write songs just because he's the lead singer. It's always a bad idea. Just ask. I don't know. Mulhanoi Rocks comes to mind. That's nothing to do with this. That was a brilliant song. I have sang its praises before, and I will do so now. That was the Fleurs. Fleurs, can't pronounce a song called Fire, and it was amazing. Just truly amazing. Not just because the singer is masterful and brilliant, but because of the way it was written. It had an inherent sense of drama that I really liked, really enjoyed. And it was also the last song proper of this show, the show 15. I am way ahead of schedule. This is, I think, what it's gonna be like from here on in. My Twitter presence, such as it is, has not been very present, and that's by design. The tweets that you will see, promoting these shows have all been scheduled, programmed weeks in advance. I'm not really on there as much for the simple reason that I don't have the time or the energy to be as active as I used to be. There are other things in my life that I need to devote time and effort to, not least my own sanity. Social media is pretty awful, to be honest. But I'm hanging in there. I'm not like going away or anything, but the main way you're gonna hear from me is this show, and that's about it. One more song. I was actually gonna play some heavy metal, but then I changed my mind. I figured that would be in poor taste. Following all this amazing music. So I'm gonna play a Black Distortion song once again. This is from the collection Unknown that I released in June. This is actually one of the more recent Black Distortion songs. It's from I think March or April. It's called Ho Hum. It was written purely because I wanted to feature the Black Distortion logo on a video on YouTube. This song is not on YouTube anymore, by the way. Neither are any of my other Black Distortion songs. I'm shutting down my YouTube channel in as much as anybody out there cares. I'm not fond of that site. Anyway, this is Ho Hum. And I'll be back next week when it's September. And probably raining and miserable, or maybe not. You never know. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Support sleradio.com. We are truly a station for the artists and often by the artists. Thanks.
retaliate and stay aloof. I question now to reassess my motivation to confess to past misdeeds, great and small. I'd rather punch a concrete wall. Who knows?